Kareem, we're going to talk with you next. Your paper is entitled "The Importance of Management Skills and Technical Skills for Middle Level and Top Level Managers." So tell us about that topic through you're sharing with us the photo text that you selected for this.
Even though, as you read the topic of the paper, it sounds a little bit more complicated, eventually the topic narrows down to the ideas of soft skills, which is communication skills between the people, intercommunication and all of that, versus hard skills, which are engineering, some technical skills and so forth. While doing this essay, been doing a lot of research and eventually came into conclusion that today people are focusing on the technical skills too much, believing that this will lead them to a better success, better career, or higher money, or whatever. Thus, in the workplace, in order to increase the efficiency and to fit as many people as the room in the possible, they limit the space for each person. This is symbolizing the boxes that you can see even in our locker room. Thus, we all have a meter by meter space where we can basically only sit, maybe put one book and nothing else. So imagination is not really workable there because we're pressured and limited by this very small and narrow space. Further on, I've been moving throughout the buildings and noticed the computer lab. And surprisingly enough, computer lab was empty. So nobody's there, and we have this, let's say, modern high-state technology. But if nobody's using it the way it's supposed to be used, then it doesn't mean anything. It's basically no good. So what's the point of buying all this expensive equipment if there is no intercommunication skills and people actually don't use them for the benefit of the society? And eventually I came down to my house and have a very nice and relaxing atmosphere. But I wanted to point out, even in this kind of relaxing, soft chairs atmosphere, if there is no people, this atmosphere doesn't mean much as well. It does create positive environment for those who are there, but if nobody is there, then nothing is going to happen. Basically, in my essay, I narrowed down to the situation that hard skills are, of course, important, especially in certain industries such as car manufacturing or software development, etc. But managers should be focusing more themselves on the ideas of the soft skills, being able to bring up teams together, to work on certain projects, and just to create a positive environment at the workplace.
Okay, it's very interesting because while you're speaking, I'm thinking of what has already been noticed in mainland China, particularly over the past 15 years. But this research I'm going to share with you took place about 5 years ago. And it was a kind of a values assessment of workers and at all levels, the leadership, ownership, and lower levels. And there is an interesting profile that showed that technical acquisition, technology acquisition for technology's sake was becoming a superordinate value. But what was missing, and also the acquisition of money, the two superordinate values. But what seemed to be missing from the management side was the other softer values, collaboration, team building, all those things. But those values weren't altogether absent. Where they existed were in the Chinese families. That over the course of the past 50 years of controlled, centralized government, nonetheless, the Chinese tradition and cultural family network preserved family values. So for the first time in a long time in China, when people now have a little more disposable income, they build their families, they help other people, they involve themselves in humanitarian things. And that value is starting to come into the workplace. How do you think the Chinese companies are going to deal with that?
Well, most likely, as it opens up to the external world, Chinese companies, in a popular example of Foxconn, would eventually have to move into generally humanitarian acceptable values, among which is treating people on the equal base, regardless of their positions, or, as a matter of fact, of their relations to certain high political levels or something like that. People are treated as the people, not as the machines, not as a certain just equipment that can be replaced in case the equipment gets broken down or the person gets sick in this case. So I believe that we must value the humanitarian values in Chinese government and Chinese companies in particular, because in order to be successful in the business, they'll have to eventually come to a situation when human values will play a most important role in the workplace.
And they eventually needs long-term strategic planning.
Yes,
Because this is
certainly.
not, it doesn't happen fast, and individuals don't even realize the changes that are occurring. So it is a very interesting challenge, particularly from a human resources point of view, because the strategy has to be over the course of 20 years. A policy just can't be passed tomorrow and distributed, and it happens. It doesn't happen. It's not part of the fiber of the people and thinking to think differently. So it's a long-term strategic plan. Even though the economic forces and technological forces have created dramatic and almost near immediate changes, the human element has a greater challenge even. It's a much greater challenge. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.